Hey, the government figured out mind control, and they used this one weird trick to do it.
Uri Geller was an illusionist who claimed to the very end that he was not an illusionist, that he really did have special gifts, and he was CIA certified. Like, they were studying him, and the CIA was even convinced that this guy is legitimately doing these things.
Yeah. Hey, it's March 25th. What do you got going on?
Nothing.
Sweet. All right. Well, thanks for checking out this
okay,
episode.
so this is Things I Learned Last Night. It's a comedy podcast. It's an Evergreen Network podcast. You can check us out there. But all of my shows are on jaronmyers.com/shows. We're getting into Easter. It's that time of the year where maybe stuff will pop up. I usually don't have a whole lot till after Easter. But after Easter, I do have a pretty busy schedule. So come hang out.
Hey, man.
What's up? Hey, man.
Have you ever heard of Uri Geller?
Uri
Geller.
Uri Geller.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uri. It might be Uri. Uri. I think it's Uri.
Oh, it's Uri.
Uri Geller. Have you ever heard of him?
No.
We've actually talked about him on this podcast before.
We have?
Yeah, we have.
Okay.
But we haven't done an episode about him.
Because he's Ross's brother.
Yeah, close. Here's a picture of him. Maybe this will help you. If you see him, maybe you'll know who he is. Ready?
Blocking out the haters.
Here's another picture of him. Here's another. This might help. I don't know if you can tell.
He's a big spoon guy.
Covered in
hold on. Let me say that again. I don't mean he's a big spoon guy. I mean like he loves spoons.
He's a big spoon man.
Why? I'm trying to put together why we would have talked about Uri Geller before. Because he loves
spoons. This guy must love spoons.
Must love spoons. Okay.
This picture cracks me up so much. Let me show you another one. This one might help you get it. Ready?
Yeah.
Did this one do it?
Oh.
Are you faking it? Do you know what this is?
No.
All right, what if I show you this one?
Is he an illusionist?
Yeah. There you go.
Is he an illusionist?
Yeah, you're catching on. He is.
Okay.
But here's the thing: he doesn't brand himself as an illusionist.
Mentalist.
He's a psychic. He is a psychic.
Sure.
So here's the story of
that guy. Drives around in a car covered with spoons.
My favorite thing about it is it's not even like a great car. And
I think it's a hearse, dude. You think that you see this skull on the front? I think that's a hearse.
It could be a hearse. That's kind of freaking sick, actually.
A spoon-covered hearse?
A spoon hearse. That's kind of cool. Here's the thing, though. I'm not sure, like, if the spoons on the sides, I don't know if those are real spoons. Like, that might be like a wrap. I mean, obviously the top, those are definitely spoons. But
I'm saying
on the
those
sides,
are definitely sticking off the side. Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yes.
I don't know, because if you look at the front by the headlight, that looks like a wrap.
I don't think so.
I don't know. Anyways, this guy, he's the spoon guy. He's the guy who made the spoon bending thing a thing.
Okay. So if you don't know, Christian illusionists do this thing where they all hold hands with like four people, and then they do something weird to the first person's hand. They go, and then the spoon bends in a bag 4 hands away, kind of thing. And they open it and they go, the only illusion is the illusion the devil sold you when he told you that life was going to make you happy. But what's going to make you happy is following Christ. The true illusion is falling for the sins of the world. All right. That's what they do. I don't know. They spin it at the end. All right.
Oh my God.
Speaking of spinning at the end, another thing is artists love to paint and they spin it upside down. It was Jesus the whole time. So maybe that's if you turn the car picture upside down, it's Jesus. Don't do it. Get out. Just move on to the next bit. Okay, why are we talking about this guy? Pretty interesting stuff, you know. He's an illusionist. He does the spoon stuff, and he married this girl, and then he died, and that girl died in his house, and that's kind of it.
Oh, remind me to talk to you about that at the Hour of the Fiddle.
Of course, yeah, of course.
So Uri started his life as a child, and when he was in grade school, he had an experience.
Okay.
And so here's what happened.
He punctured his tongue with a fork and said, "Never again.
Never again will I touch one of these." And so instead, he just damaged spoons for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
No, he had a moment. He was at school and he was on the playground, and playing, and then he looked. And then something caught his eye. He looked up in the sky, and it was a silver flying disc. And he said in that moment, he felt this connection. This is dead serious. He felt the connection to this disc.
No, it is.
He felt the connection to this disc. And he has since talked about this experience as an adult.
Okay.
And he says, I don't know what exactly happened there. He said, I think it could have been a few things. He said, I think it could have been
my mom and dad were fighting the night before, and I just needed a reason to carry on.
Okay.
Could have been that I got made fun of in the class right before that, and I just really needed a reason to feel special.
Okay.
Could have been that I was getting shipped off to a church camp I didn't want to go to that summer, and I was really afraid that I was not going to make any new friends. But then when I got there, I met this counselor, and he was like, "You're going to fit in great." And then that counselor was actually really mean to me on Thursday night and kind of forced me to go forward and raise my hand and say that I accepted Jesus, even though I didn't really feel anything. And he stood there and made sure that I spoke in tongues, and I was like, "I don't even know what this means." And he was just like, "You just got to do it." And I was like, "La la la la." And then he was like, "That's ASMR. I'm not falling for that." And I was like, "Shoo-ba-da-ba-ba." And he was like, "That's the Lord." And it wasn't. And I've just been plagued with that guilt, and so I just needed a reason to get out of this world. And so I imagined that a spaceship's going to come and take me away to playground. And then so that's probably what that was, though.
That was one of the things he said. And he said, or it could have been.
Or it could have been.
Or it.
Aliens.
Aliens. Exactly. Yeah. He said it could have been aliens, and they could have been trying to communicate to me. And that's what I felt. And he said, or it could have been like,
or one of my classmates was trying to steal all the snack cakes from the cafeteria, and I was just creating a diversion. So I said, "Look at that big thing in the sky," and all the school teachers came out, and everyone looked, and I was like, "Whoa!" But then me and my buddy were actually sneaking into the cafeteria to sneak all the food, and then years later, there's a documentary being made because this whole class saw something in the sky, but really it was just me and my friend who made it up the whole time. And we're like, "Yeah, sorry, we made that up. Sorry, you flew your documentary crew to Africa to cover this." And then we looked at these two identical hand-drawn drawings, and we had to watch this podcaster be like, "Look how different they are, even though they're the same drawing." You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, so it could have been that. It
could have been.
Or he said, or
what
it was.
What was that?
That was the psychologist. What was his name? He was a psychologist who believed the kids.
Oh, that's
it was about the psychologist because he was.
That's right.
It was one of those ones where I bait and switched you. He had a totally normal psychologist career.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he got into aliens.
Okay, so anyway,
so this one's not a bait.
This is what we're starting.
This one's reversed. Well, I'm going to start with aliens, and we're gonna switch later.
We're gonna pivot to
I don't know, something normal. He said, or it was like God. He's like, God was speaking to me through this light and like blessed me, or some sort of interdimensional being. And he said, but he said, whatever it was.
But what I know for sure is it's now made up in my head.
Yeah, well, he actually did say that. He said, or maybe it was a projection from my own mind.
Okay.
He said maybe it was a projection.
Because he was like, it's either aliens or the God of the universe. But I know it's not for sure is that it was just made up in my kid brain.
That my kid brain just came up with it. But he said, whatever it was, it defies explanation. Because he said at that moment is when he felt the power well up within him.
Sure.
And so he then had the psychic power, and he realized, oh, I can read everyone's minds. Like I know what everyone around me is thinking now. I saw that thing, and now I know what you're thinking. And they're like, well, what am I thinking? And he's like, you didn't actually see that thing, did you?
Oh, I can do it. Ready? I can read your thoughts right now. Ready?
All right, do it.
You're thinking, no, you can't, you idiot.
Oh, close. That's actually pretty close. You want to know what I was thinking?
I knew you were thinking. I just said it.
Do you want to know what I was thinking? Yeah. I was actually thinking that you were going to say, there's no way that he actually liked that gift. He's just putting on. It's all an act. It's just an act.
Sorry, let me try it
I've been thinking about it ever since. Let me try it again. Here we go.
You think Lee Harvey Oswald was innocent? That's what he's thinking about? Middle of this episode, we're trying to talk about that. The whole thing's going around in his head is, they framed that guy.
Yeah, I definitely didn't do it.
Have
There's
the
no way he did
shot.
that. He's not that good. I know for a fact. I have it on good confidence that they're lying about that. I can't stop thinking about it.
Yeah.
It's all I think about. So yeah, he's like, I can read everyone's
It's the
brain.
subtle messages in those ASMR videos that you watch.
It's all just conspiracies. Yeah, they're going.
There were rats on the moon. What are you talking about? The rats.
Rats on the moon? What?
Rats on the moon. Dibs on the band name.
Okay, deal. So he's like, I can read everyone's mind now.
Right.
And he's like, that's crazy. And so
How old is he at this point?
he's a child. He's like,
Yeah,
he's in grade school. So
now
he's realizing he's
your
different
fourth
and he's
grader
special.
comes home.
Yeah.
And your fourth grader goes, now I know what you're thinking. And you're like, okay. What are you talking about? You can read people's thoughts. What are you talking about? You read people's thoughts. See how I said it at the same time as you?
It's like you actually said it after
Like suddenly
me,
he's
first
just
of all.
really arrogant and cocky.
Yeah, kinda. And all of a sudden he realizes that
He definitely, because he had this in elementary school.
Yeah.
He definitely used this to like pick up girls in high school. He was just like, hey. I guess I just know what a girl wants, you know?
what a girl wants.
And isn't that a movie? Isn't there a movie
Yeah,
where
there's
this
a
is
movie.
like,
Yeah.
is Mel Gibson able to read women's minds?
What? Is Mel Gibson in What a Girl Wants?
No, isn't. I don't know what the movie is.
It was Amanda Bynes.
No. I'm not talking about What a Girl Wants. I'm talking about a movie where Mel Gibson can read women's minds.
Mel Gibson mind reading. Oh, interesting. It's called What Women Want.
Ah, hey. Hey. I was close.
That's kind of interesting. Huh, strange. Okay. Yeah, so same, I guess.
That's what I'm saying. He
that's the
definitely
same.
used that when he was just like, I know what you're thinking, girl.
I know what you're thinking.
You're thinking, this guy's kind of cute. And she's like, no, I wasn't. He's like, hey. Yes, you were.
Yes, you were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like, get away from me.
He's like, what are
He's
you
like,
doing?
You say that now.
Yeah.
20 years from now, I'm going to drive a spoon mobile and you're going to regret this moment.
Wait till you see my spoon
You're going to
car.
regret this, Candace.
Candace.
I don't know what year it was. It the 80s?
When
was he born?
He was born in 46.
Oh, I don't
in
remember.
Tel Aviv.
Okay.
And so he gets home and he's just kind of like, wow, I got these powers. What else can I do?
Yeah.
And so he's practicing around with just
Can he
messing
move
around.
stuff?
Yeah, he's like, I think I can move some stuff with my mind. And so
Of course.
he starts doing his telekinesis, moving stuff around with his mind.
And this is 40s, 50s?
He was born in 46, so he would have been like early 50s
Yeah, this is when
at
people
this
made
point.
stuff up.
Yeah, this is when people made stuff up. So he allegedly, I will say too, this is a little bit of backstory. His grandma,
Sure.
I think grandmother, is named Margaret Freud, and they claim that he's a distant relative of Sigmund Freud on his mother's side, but there's never been like connected. It's like, yeah, they got the same last name. And so he's like, I think he's using that as like a claim to fame. I don't know.
Sure.
But anyways,
Sure.
if it is, yeah, anyways. So he starts like learning, I can move stuff with my mind. And he starts taking keys and just different metal objects and bending them with his brain. He's like sitting there bending them. The parents are losing their mind. Everything is bent in their house because he's sitting there going, and he's like, look what I can do. And his dad even said in an interview later in his life, this was an interesting interview. His dad said, I don't know what it was about him, but his watches always seemed to break. And I don't know what the claim is there. No, like I think it's that they just stopped working. Like his watch watches would just stop working. And then I think the claim
is my kid just wanted to spend more time with me, so he broke all my watches, so I wouldn't be able to know what time it was.
I think the claim there is that he had so much magic energy coming off of him that all the gears in the watch stopped working. Like the gears would bend and break.
Sure.
But
that does happen.
He allegedly was able at times, not all the time, but at times to take the watch and shake it and fix it. I don't know what that...
Sounds like you got a cheap watch.
Yeah, have you tried shaking it, kid?
No, this has got to be because my kid is magical.
It's because my kid's magic.
Okay.
So he starts doing like local shows when he gets to high school.
Sure.
Doing the spoon bending thing. And then he would do a thing where people would come up and he would have a blackboard upstage from him and they would draw a picture on the blackboard and he would have like a canvas and he would draw the same picture.
Okay.
And this is like late 50s at this point.
Yeah.
And so this is blowing people's minds. This is early in like magicians doing magician stuff, right?
It's not.
I'm pretty sure it was.
Magicians
like
have been around for literally thousands of years.
Yeah. But everyone believed it back then. Like this was the first era. Like Houdini was the first era where it was like, I'm magic, but it's like, I'm not actually worshiping the devil, okay?
And what year was Houdini?
I don't know. 10 years before this? We did an episode on him, but I'm not gonna remember. Okay, he died like 30 years before this. So
yeah.
It's still new. It's still fresh.
Okay.
But he's doing...
It's not.
He's doing his magic. People are coming in there.
Sure. And they're like, oh, wow, we've never seen this before.
They're coming
I say this is brand new to us. People in the 50s who have never seen stuff before. They all have that transatlantic
Yeah, the
accent
transatlantic
that we can't
voice,
do anymore.
Yeah.
No one talks like that anymore. They should.
Yeah.
We should try.
I think they did it for a very specific reason.
They got rid of it or they did the accent?
No, I think they did it for a specific reason.
Which was?
Radio waves. I think the radio waves like interrupted their voice since they had to talk weird so that way their voice wouldn't get distorted by the radio.
I don't think so.
Right, Alex?
No, I think
it's a thing.
Just had Did he say yes?
No.
I didn't think so. But you just confidently went, right? Yeah, it's a thing. Yeah. In the early days of this show, we did like affiliate ads where we were like, hey, sign up for Grammarly and use code TILLN and we got like 15 cents. And now we just do Patreon. It's a much better way. It's better for us as creators. It's better for you as listeners. And it's a much more fun way for us to interact. We do monthly hangouts like on Zoom. We just hang out and play games online and get to know each other. It's a really fun time. So, but still use our code TILLN at Grammarly.com because I think it's still active.
It is still
we might
active.
get like a couple cents from that.
Yeah.
But join us on Patreon because we're having a great time.
Yeah. If you don't, we're going to have to start doing mobile game ads. So he started doing this. He started doing like theater shows and like little things, bending spoons.
This new thing no one's ever heard of before called magic.
Exactly. Called shows, called theaters.
Yeah.
No one had thought of it before.
No one had thought about it.
Everyone's like, man, no, I've never seen this many people in one room.
Yeah.
And so he was doing the show.
Yeah.
And he started to garner a little bit of attention around Israel. And he got some television, like local television appearances.
Sure.
And he ended up having a show called The Geller Effect that kind of made him a celebrity in the country, where he would do the bending spoons.
Isn't there, what's the magician now that's got the whatever effect, the Carbonaro effect?
Yeah, actually. I wonder if that is...
an homage to that?
Yeah, Carbonaro effect.
Carbonaro.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Which is interesting because that's what my favorite dish at Olive Garden is called. It's the
that's
shrimp
really interesting.
carbonaro.
I wonder if that was a...
And I'll tell you the effect that's got.
I mean, he does kind of do the mentalist thing too, so I guess that makes sense that he was... Anyways, so he started getting recognized on TV, started getting flown out to Europe to do appearances on European TV shows, and this eventually gets to the States, and in the 70s... Johnny Carson finds out about him. And in 73, he has him come on to the Tonight Show. But Johnny Carson, I don't know if you knew this, because I didn't. Johnny Carson was like a hobby magician
Yeah, he does the little thing. That was his whole bit.
What little thing?
With the envelope and the hat. That was like one of his bits. What do you
I don't know what you're talking
about. Where he would, like, it was like, you know, you could tell. I think that yes, Johnny Carson was a hobby magician, but he also liked the showmanship of magic.
Yeah,
which had been around for centuries. And but one of the bits that they would do on the show is that whole, like, the punchline would be written in the envelope, and he would say the setup, and then he would just read whatever's in the envelope. But it wasn't a magic trick. It was the showmanship of a magic trick.
Interesting. So
I forget what they called that, but
Johnny Carson was, what's the right word? Irked by Geller, because Geller repeatedly would be asked, like, oh, that's a trick. And he'd be like, no, I'm a psychic. Like, I have special powers. Like, he would not.
Oh, and Johnny Carson was like, come on.
He would not be like, I'm a performer. He would be like, I have powers. And Carson's like, no, you don't. And so they have him come out, and his, Uri Geller's team came out and they set up the set. So they had a bunch of spoons that they set out. Sure. There was another bit that he did where they had a bunch of, like, metal canisters that weren't see-through or anything like that. And they were all empty except for one of them was full of some sort of powder. And he would tell you which one was full without touching them or feeling them or anything like that. He'd be like, yeah, it's that one. And so Carson came out and he saw all that. And he's like, yeah, right. And so he's like, take it all away and replace it with our stuff. And so he had his production team replace everything with their spoons and their canisters, and one of them was full. And so they just,
because he's like, I'm gonna humiliate this guy on live TV,
pretty much. And he's like, yeah, replace it all. And so he comes out for his segment. Johnny Carson's doing a show, does his whole thing, and then it's like, okay, Uri Geller, this magician from Tel Aviv is here. And you might have heard of him. He's starting to make waves internationally. He's here to show us what he can do, and we've got this stuff. And so he comes out, and he immediately sees the table with all of his stuff, and he is, like, perturbed. And so he sits down, and he can immediately tell, oh, something's wrong. And the first, I think maybe the most obvious thing was, he would always have all of these goods on, like, a metal tray.
Yeah.
And one of the bits, and one of what some magicians since have said, the way he did the what's in the jar thing, is he would reach out and he would spin that tray, and he could kind of tell from by the weightedness of it which one was full. And so when there wasn't a tray, he immediately knew, oh, someone messed with my stuff. And he started looking around at his spoons. He's like, these are not my spoons. And so he realized, I'm not going to be able to do any of my tricks because it's not my stuff. So he's on the show, and he's sitting there, and he's like, oh, something's wrong.
Yeah.
And so what ends up happening is 20 minutes of, like, the worst television in history, because he's just sitting there kind of mumbling to himself, like very clearly upset, and then, like, occasionally going like this over things and, like, looking at him. And Johnny Carson is just being like, what's wrong? Can't do it? Like, just very clearly being like, oh, like
a bully.
Yeah, kind of. And Johnny Carson,
this is a really mean thing to do to your guest that you've flown from Israel.
Yeah. And he's just sitting there smoking a cigarette, which, honestly, I'm going to be honest. Here's the deal.
Smoking in public?
Pretty cool.
Was cool.
Pretty cool.
Smoking in general.
Very
cool.
It's unhealthy, and yeah, DARE program, whatever. Sure. But honestly, DARE program, forget you guys.
DARE program for nerds.
DARE program is for nerds. Man.
I do think that
cigarettes are cool. It's hard. It's hard.
But that was the whole thing, was that it was on TV, and it was so normal.
You know, I saw, this is going to sound really crazy for a second. There's things in life where it's like, it's hard not to look cool while doing.
Sure.
There's also things in life where it's hard to look cool while doing. And stick with me for a second. Smoking, it's hard to look not cool smoking. Like, smoking looks inherently just cool.
But you got to think about why, though. And it's because the characters that they made smoke in film and TV.
Yeah.
They
were always cool.
Before like the late 80s, 90s anti-smoking stuff.
Yeah, but even after all of that,
right?
When I was in high school, we knew
that smoking was cool.
That smoking
when I was in high school,
bad.
we knew.
We knew smoking was
no one
bad.
had to tell us. We were like, that's a cool guy.
We knew smoking was bad, but when I walked out of the venue between sets at shows and all those kids were out front smoking, I was like, gosh, you guys are so cool.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Even the kids that didn't weren't cool kids.
But seeing people who have smoked for 50 years,
yeah,
and you see what they look like,
look cool when they light up though. They still look cool. It's hard not to look cool just
not
sitting
in
there,
then
your
you
leg
have not
crossed with the cigarette.
You have not walked out the back of a comedy club
with their
in freaking Minneapolis in the winter and seen people who are so addicted to smoking that they'll stand outside in the freezing cold, just be like, they're freezing for a reason, and and the reason is nicotine.
Maybe I don't know. It's pretty cool.
So,
but
the other things were it's hard to look cool while.
I was driving home the other day. I was driving home the other morning.
Just so you know, I know that there's families who listen. I don't think you should start smoking, but you shouldn't stop if you. No, we're not trying to.
I don't think you should smoke, but I do think if you do, it's pretty cool.
Alex is trying to figure out how we PR this. I don't think we're not trying to be.
I'm not endorsing smoking. I'm just saying it's not cool.
Okay, what's hard to look cool while you do it?
And so I was driving home the other morning, past a school bus stop.
Hard to look cool playing badminton.
I passed the school bus stop, and there's one kid standing out at the bus stop, probably 5th, 6th grade, just itching his butt, like hardcore itching his butt. And I'm like, man.
You ever seen somebody cool itch their butt?
No, I'm just like, it's hard not to look cool itching your butt. And here's the thing. Wait, no, it's hard.
I think you said that.
It's hard to look cool itching.
Oh, dude, I think about it. All the cool kids itching their butt. You ever seen somebody just reach down and grab a handful and itch their butt? That's so cool. Now you have context for Tim's definitions.
Here's the thing.
Text? What was that? Oh, yeah. Did you get another mission? What is that? You kind of like go, you pulled that fully up in front of your eyes, dude. Like somebody who's taking their neck health super serious. You're like, look down. I got to come up here.
Yeah, I got to take care of my health. I got to do this so my neck doesn't hurt, but after this, I'm going to go smoke a pack.
I'll tell you what, it's really hard to look cool while checking your Apple Watch for notifications. It's so hard to look cool while you go, whoa.
No, but let me tell you where my goblin brain was at the other day. So I saw this kid itch his butt.
And you thought, I'm going to turn and hit him with my car.
I saw this kid itch his butt. And my brain didn't just go.
This isn't getting better, dude. I saw this kid itch his butt. So I saw this kid itch his butt, right? I'm driving home, and so I saw this kid itch his butt. That's crazy.
And my goblin brain said, because I was coming
smoking
home,
a cigarette.
I was like, dude, this simple. That kid was smoking a cigarette.
That's conflicting. What do you do if you see someone who's smoking a cigarette, reach down and itch their butt? What did you think in your goblin brain?
I was on my way home from the gym, and I was at the gym. I was listening to
you were like, I hope my kid's never that lame.
No, I was listening to I don't know what it was, like some podcast about I don't know, some hustle grind thing, probably Anthony Elliott.
You listening to the gym?
I don't know. But my brain, I was like, oh, success, winning, blah. And so I passed this kid and he's itching his butt. And that's exactly what I think. Immediately, I'm just like, oh man, it's hard to look cool while you're itching your butt. And I'm like, and my brain says, yeah, you can put on a leather jacket, you get the sunglasses, the designer jeans, the cool shoes, but you itch your butt, you're not cool. And my brain goes, and it's just like your business. If you got a bad business, if you're trying to sell a product that isn't cool, you can dress it up all you want. You can do the marketing campaign. You can try to make it look really good, but it doesn't matter what you do. If your product is itching your butt, it doesn't look cool. So anyways, Johnny Carson's sitting there smoking, and it's 20 minutes of this guy getting really upset about the fact that he can't do these tricks. Yeah. And he's mumbling under his breath, and there's been some lip readers who've been he's saying why would you do this to me? Why would you bring me on here to embarrass me like this? Yeah. He's very mad.
Would you do this?
And so then he says, he's like, I don't have positive energy today. My energy is really negative. I'm not sensing this the way, sometimes that happens. I just don't have the right energy. And Carson's like, okay, yeah, sounds good. And so like just pretty much publicly shames him for being a fraud. And that show ends. He never does any of his tricks. They just watch him for 20 minutes essentially. And so he goes back to his room that night, his hotel, just outraged, very upset, thinking his career is going to be over because of this. But something happened.
He looked at the window.
He saw a disc in the sky.
An alien in that disc going, "Hey, it's okay." A lot of people don't know that. The reason that aliens' hands are like that is because they photoshopped the cigarettes out.
There used to be cigarettes in there.
That's why they sound like that too.
Yeah, because they're smoked for half a millennia.
I am an alien and I sound like this.
And I smoked a ton. A bunch of people saw this.
Yeah.
And for some reason, what you would expect is people would see this and they would say, oh yeah, this guy's a fraud. He's been exposed. But what people saw instead was, oh, this guy must be legit if it doesn't work all the time. And so this blew him up. Like,
this is what stuff that makes me feel insane. Is the reinforcements that people will go through in their brains to go, see, that actually validates it.
That actually makes a lot of sense because since it didn't work, like it not working.
For me, that's like when the Kansas City Chiefs lost the Super Bowl. It's like, see, it's not scripted.
See?
It's not scripted.
See, how could it be scripted? They wouldn't have them lose if it was scripted. It was too good of a story. So then he goes on a circuit and he does like every morning talk show, every late night talk show in the States, in the UK. Like he's all over the place.
Yeah.
And it kind of culminates in a moment to here where you might remember this part of the story where he gets a call from a guy by the name of Harold Puthoff. Why am I saying that wrong? That doesn't sound right. Harold Puthoff. Harold Puthoff. That's right, I think. And Russell Targ, which you might remember those names. Maybe. Do you? No. They are researchers at the SRI, which was the Stanford Research Institute.
Okay.
They were tasked by the CIA to try to figure out if mind control was possible.
MK Ultra.
This wasn't MK Ultra, but this was another like.
Oh, speaking of that, Montauk.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Is referenced in Severance.
Oh, really?
You're going to freaking love this show when you finally watch it.
Yeah.
Hashtag ad, but you're going to love this show when you freaking watch it.
Okay.
Because I think I think it all plays in.
Interesting. I mean, that would make a lot of sense, actually, knowing the subject matter. No, this was the remote viewing. And so he was...
Yeah, I actually have never re-listened to that episode because I was just like, this feels like a dark... I mean, like, because you told that story about how you remote viewed once. Have you...
Shut up.
Have you ever repented of that and like asked for forgiveness for doing that? From God?
So he goes and I just smoked instead.
Okay.
So he goes, he gets called by the Stanford Research Institute.
Yeah.
And they said, hey, we are looking for a psychic to study to see if there's any legitimacy.
Anything there.
Yeah.
Sure.
And so they had him do a pretty common trick he would do on TV shows and stuff was the drawing thing where people would draw a picture.
Right.
They put it in an envelope. He would draw it. Another common thing.
But at that point, like, that's crazy that you're just like, oh yeah, you're looking for a psychic. Like, yeah. I know I'm making this up.
Yeah. 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 Okay. And so they call him and they do the drawing thing.
You can't Munchausen your way into being a psychic.
Well, here's the thing. Yeah, you would think that when the CIA is investigating you for your psychic ability, you would probably say, hey guys, look, circle of confidence here, right?
I made this
I'm a
up.
fraud. Don't tell anyone though, please. Can we just act like this is really legit?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe
Guys, it's all made up.
Maybe honestly, maybe he did. Like maybe he did say, "Hey, it's fake," but just write in your report that it is.
Baby, that's what we do.
Maybe that's our thing. Well, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of could see a possible world because so many magicians at this point already had come forward to be like, I know exactly how he's doing all this. It's a trick. He's not a psychic. Like they could explain it all. And he would just like double down every time that he's an actual psychic.
Himself.
And what he would say is he said magicians, they can imitate through tricks, but it's not the real thing. Like they're imitating. He's like, I'm the real deal.
Yeah.
And he's like, we're doing this. He's like, yeah, the result's the same, but the method is different, is what he would say. And people would be like, oh yeah, he must be, yeah, that sounds right. He's legit.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And so these guys, and how that's right. Harold goes by Hal. That's why that sounded so weird to me. Hal Puthoff. He's like a pretty famous guy in like the UFO sphere today because he did this remote viewing thing, and he's always been into the extraterrestrial paranormal world. And so he kind of has that brainworm too. And so he might have been more susceptible to believing this stuff when he did his research. But I also can see a possible world where when the SRI got hired by the CIA to investigate this stuff and try to figure out if remote viewing was legitimate, Russia was, I mean, this is the middle of the Cold War, and Russia, the Soviet Union, was saying, yeah, we have psychics and they can do stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's not far-fetched to me to think that the CIA was like, yeah, just put together some reports that say we can do it too.
Sure.
And that seems like that might be what was going on here. Like they took him in.
Back when Russia was our adversary in the 80s.
yeah, exactly right.
In the 60s for like a long time.
For like, most of it.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for checking out this episode. If you like it, there is some great news for you. We have a mailing list. In that mailing list, we give updates on past episodes. So things in the news, things that happen for episodes. We've got over 200 episodes we've done. And every week, things are changing. New updates are coming out. And we're keeping you up to date on what's happening in the happenings of TILLN Topics. So if you want to keep learning stuff, even beyond the content of the episodes, that's a great place to do it. Also, we give updates on things that's happening in the TILLN verse. I like that. I've never said TILLN verse before, but I'm sticking with it. If you want to know what's happening in the TILLN verse, that's the best place to do it. You can go to TILLN.com. There's a link in the description, or you can text TILLN to 66866. There's a lot of ways to sign up for the mailing list to make sure you keep up to date with everything that we've talked about and everything that's going on in the TILLN verse. But anyways, now back to this episode. So they come forward and they say, yeah, we have no reason to believe that he's faking this.
Yeah.
And he wears that like a badge of honor.
Yeah,
like he goes around
I'm CIA confirmed, baby.
CIA approved.
Boom.
And I could see him paying for that too, actually, because he was already rich at this point.
Yeah.
Here's his house, by the way. He made it. Doing this grift. And I'm going to be honest with you. There was a point in my life where I would see that floor and I'd be like, oh yeah, he's part of the Illuminati. That's why. Because that's Illuminati floor.
So there's a guy on, honestly, he does the best on Facebook, I guess, but on YouTube, TikTok, all that stuff. Have you seen him? He used to be an illusionist. He used to do like the big corporate events stuff. His name is Justin Flom.
Okay.
And, I don't know if I should give away his secrets, I guess, but, he, does all this stuff in his hand. He loves stencil art. He does stencil art on his walls, or he'll show like this secret room in his house, or this trap door that he built into the floor.
Yeah.
Like all this stuff. Do you know what I'm talking about? Have you seen his videos?
No.
Like different stuff is like literally pulls a lever and the floor opens and it goes to this ball pit that's downstairs.
That's
right.
Fun.
Or like different, like a little hidden bookshelf door that goes into this secret room that has a slide and all this stuff in this house.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The guy owns a house across the street that he and his family live in. That's their house.
And then he got
owns this house that he goes over and makes YouTube videos in, tears out a whole wall, and then does his little YouTube video, tears it down, re-puts the wall up.
Interesting.
And he just puts like different stuff in this house that he don't actually live in.
That he doesn't live in.
But that's what he's making his content out of.
Interesting.
That's crazy.
Kind of like Bear in the Big Blue House.
Yeah.
Or no, out of the box.
Yeah. He does have a bear in that house. No, what I'm saying is he made enough money from doing. I mean, he's CIA approved, but he was doing like illusion stuff for like Walmart and Costco.
Illusions?
He was an illusionist,
and he was doing it for Walmart.
Yeah, he was doing the big corporate gigs.
Oh, the corporate gigs. I was like, what for? Why was he doing magic?
He
for
was
Walmart?
out front of Walmart. It was just like ding, 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 Salvation Army, and he's like, put it in the, and he's like, what's that behind your ear? Your donation. So, no, he like made enough money from doing the corporate stuff. That, now he makes his money from doing the social content. But it's just like he bought a whole house just for that's crazy stuff, man.
Were you the one that was telling me about the kids YouTube thing where it's like you can't have
this new law passed in California where have you seen this, Alex? This law that passed in California, there's a lot of family vloggers who are moving from California to like Tennessee or Idaho because there was a law that passed that said if your content features children over a certain percentage, then you have to put a certain percentage of your proceeds in a trust fund for them. And so some of these parents in California are just like, I'm not going to pay my kid. And they literally move their whole family rather than honor the life and sanctity of their child and the relationship that they have together because they would rather capitalize on their existence in this hellscape that we live in.
Turn them into a character. That's fun. Hey, well, kids should get paid, right?
Yeah, that's why we had to wait till you grew up to do this podcast. That's why we had to wait until Tim grew up to go to video. If you guys would have seen him in the audio episodes, he was a little child.
Just a little kid.
Just a little kid.
He's a little kid. That's why.
And then the video was when he finally looked old enough that we were like, all right, you at least pass for 14.
Look like an adult. So anyway, he kept doing his magic thing. Sure. He did a full career of this, and he got all sorts of hate and claims that he was a fraud. People would try to expose him all the time.
Here's the thing about getting hate. I think about this all the time too. If you're successful enough, who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the number of people who comment on Bert Kreischer's stuff. Mm-hmm. He's got a new special coming out on Netflix.
Yeah.
Actually, I think it drops. This is March 18th. That was last week.
No, yeah, this one will be March.
Okay, so this is March 25th.
25th, yeah.
So it came out last week. But, Netflix drops the trailer and all the comment. I couldn't find one single supporting comment that was like, yes, can't wait for Bert's new special. But
really?
Yeah, but there's so many people who are. I'm going to watch it. I think he's a phenomenal stand-up.
Yeah. He's
but it's one of those things where it's just like, who cares?
Yeah.
Like, you saw his house.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where it's just making like, oh no,
and he lives that life. Like, I mean, obviously you've seen his house, but he lives like he has all the celebrity friends.
And
in 2001, he renewed his wedding vows, and his best man for his renewals, Michael Jackson, which is hilarious to me.
When did he renew his wedding vows in 2001?
I don't know.
I just say he's already said there's certain dates that have a lot of meaning to him, and I just want to know when in 2001 he renewed his wedding vows.
I do not know. I do not know. And so he kind of lived that life. Some fun trivia. Pokemon made a Pokemon dedicated to him. This is Kadabra. Really, all of them. Abra, Kadabra, and Alakazam. They're all in dedication to him because they got the spoon. And it looks like him.
Yeah, I can see it, I guess. Yeah.
I mean, this picture looks more like that. So I mean, he from this point on, he was like just a career magician.
Yeah.
Had a lot of scandal around him because he never backed down from trying to claim that.
Real.
Yeah, he's legit. And so now you can find him a lot on the Gaia Network, which do you know what that is?
The Gaia Network?
Yeah, have you not seen anything from the Gaia Network?
No.
Gosh. Our algorithms are so different. Gaia is one of those things where whenever I see a Gaia video come up, I'm immediately like, this is garbage. Don't watch this. Don't pay attention to this. And I comment on it. I'm like, this is garbage.
You do?
Don't pay attention.
That's why it keeps popping up on your stuff is because you keep commenting on it.
I just want people to know that it's
What is
trash.
Gaia?
Gaia is like I think it started as a YouTube channel, but now they have their own website and all their videos on their own website and stuff. And they're like very fringe conspiracy theories. It's like all alien and astral projection and stuff like that. And he's on there all the time talking about his psychic stuff. And yeah, he's still alive. He's like 78.
He's like 80s.
78.
Nope.
It literally says right here, age 78. He was born in 46. Let's see if the math is right on that. 79. Depending on when his birthday is. Oh, yeah, it's December. So, yeah, he's 78.
No.
Okay, whatever, dude.
No. What was the magician? I think he went by the masked magician.
Yeah, that did the like exposing.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. And it's ironic you brought him up because I watched a video, like the bio of Uri Geller. And they said that Uri Geller, the only magician hated more than him by magicians, was the masked magician.
Who is the masked magician?
I don't know if we know.
I think we know. Google it. Howie Mandel. No, we know who it is though, right?
Yeah, we do, I guess.
Yeah, he unmasked.
Yeah, Val Valentino.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
And so because he did a whole video series. Was that the early 2000s that he did that? It was a
TV show. He did a full TV show.
Of how magicians do their tricks?
Yeah. Which was honestly great idea.
Oh, it was a phenomenal show.
Yeah, it was called Breaking the Magician's Code.
Yeah.
And he just revealed how every trick was done. Which was pretty, I mean, honestly, it had me in a stranglehold, I'll tell you what, as a kid.
But like, does kind of suck.
What? Oh, to reveal it all?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to be honest, like, in retrospect, this guy, I mean, the timing was perfect.
Oh, yeah. I mean, for him, sure, he capitalized on the money, but I'm saying, like, he really did. Like, it does take away the fun of the magic.
No, what I'm saying is the timing was perfect because, like, just the way, like in the height of, like, Slipknot, he comes out with this mask.
Oh, yeah.
And he's telling you all the secrets in the middle of when we're like, oh, yeah, the government's hiding everything from you. And, and he's like, yeah, they are. Also,
he was like, oh, I see a rise of conspiracy theories. Now's the perfect time to expose the secrets of long-held magic traditions. Now is the time to give the people what they want.
Exactly. Yeah, you're tracking
all
with
right.
me here.
Well, anyway, what the magic community would like to say to Val Valentino is, we're an evergreen podcast. Fiddle off. Hey, thanks for watching this episode of Things I Learned Last Night. If you like that and you want more of it, guess what? Behind this hand right here is another episode. That is our remote viewing episode. You can go check that out. That's like this thing where people thought that they could kind of astral project. They could see things around the world, even from their own home, just kind of going to this transcendent place within themselves. And they could see the nukes in Russia, and they could go to Antarctica, and they could see different things and maybe even different times. It's a really wacky thing. I don't believe in any of that. Tim loves that stuff, though. So, or if you want to watch next week's episode right now, it's available to our Patreon supporters. You can join us there, TILLN.com/join. You get access to our Discord. You get monthly hangouts with us, and you get the episodes ad-free with early access. So it's just a way to support the show and help keep us going, and we really enjoy that you're here. So we'll see you next week on Things I Learned Last Night. Or you can remote view next week's episode.